The video is entitled Bunny Honey D. You is a full-blooded Uncle Tom. And you know what? I usually don't put people's names in my video, but I feel like this video is necessary for me to put his name in there. And I'm not trying. I'm not even trying to even get no views off of it. Well, the video won't get a lot. Let's just be honest. The video won't get a lot of views due to the fact people see his video, his name in here. But I'm not doing it just to get attention. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I know I shouldn't put his name in there in my video, but I did it anyway. I did it. I'm doing it. And if it come down to the point to where if it's necessary for me to just eradicate this video, I'll do it. But I feel like he really needs to hear this. Bunny Honey D, you is a full-blooded Uncle Tom. You went to this elderly man's house. You don't care about no elderly people. You know motherfucking well. And you know what? You work for white supremacy. You do. You don't give a damn about you. You uses the car situation as no excuse. You know how I know you not really no good. This is how I know you ain't. Because you say I'll send you to I can either send you to the hospital or to the graveyard. You can't even compare yourself to Malcolm X, nor Martin Luther King, because you don't represent none of that. Because number one, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King didn't go around and talk about putting people in the graveyard. They talked about the injustice that was happening to our people. That's not what. That's not even what the Israelites on YouTube represent. That's not even what they represent. Because you clearly you's working for white supremacy. You is a dirty ass Uncle Tom. You really is. Because you took and you said you go around and you become, yeah, you're a good fighter. Yeah, I give it to you. But I don't want to feel like I'm wishing bad luck upon you. I don't want to do that. I really don't. But I don't care how bad you is, and I know you know this, and there's always somebody that's better than you. But them white folks ain't doing that. You doing their job. They gonna agree. Of course, they gonna agree with you on that. Yes, our people is wrong for not paying what they supposed to be paying and paying their notes on their car. I get that. You know if you behind on a car note and things of that nature, I think there's all where there's a will, there's a way. You see what I'm saying? In my honest opinion, I think you say you're a nice person, you try to go about it in a nice way. In my honest opinion, I don't think you really mean the people no good. I really don't. I don't think you like I said, you can't go around and go to because the majority of your work, Malcolm X was not no damn police. Not no, he didn't represent putting people in there. Go back and look at any of his Malcolm X videos and see if he had anything to do with putting somebody in handcuffs. Just think about that for a moment. Just think about Martin Luther King, all of them, all those people, all Marcus Garvey, and all of them. Go back and see if they had anything to do with putting our people in handcuffs. What you working for? You working for white supremacy. You see what I'm saying? I'm not bragging. I remember a long time ago. This was way before YouTube and all this stuff didn't even exist. This was like back in 1990, 99, 1998, 99, somewhere around in there. There were some young black men, young black brothers, probably about 15, 13 and 14. I was coming out of a corner store and they picked a fight with me. They picked a fight. But I told them to get back. I said, don't. I was like telling them to don't do this in. I didn't sit up there and act like I wanted to just hurt them and stuff like that. I didn't even have half the understanding and thinking that I have right now. You really don't have you really don't have no love for your people because you took and you said you told the elderly man you'll be an easy win for me. And then you turn around and say, is there a man in the house? I fight him. I don't fight women. Innocent people. And the man and the people, you told a young teenager that in a couple of your videos a couple of years ago, I never forget that video. You told, hey, and he was about 18 or 19. And you talked about fighting an innocent young black man because it was a woman that came out there doing a bunch of talking and stuff. You still is a coward. Nobody shouldn't be no black man or no black woman or no black Hispanic or Native American man or woman should have been disrespected or should be hit on or like I put you in the hospital or the graveyard. You can't even make it into the house because I break it down and all this kind of you'll be if I wanted to you'll be on the ground and all this kind of stuff. Maybe you do need to meet your match. Because I think you take and you use as you can fight. I'll give it to you. You can use a purple belt or whatever you call that, or judicial, whatever I think, am I saying it right? Judicial or whatever the fuck you want to call that. I'll give it to you. You're a great fighter. I'm not no fighter like you neither. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, I'm not going to go around and act like I can beat everybody because I can't. Physically, I can't. I can't go around and just beat everybody. I don't believe in, I just don't believe in fighting me. The only way I think I believe in, if it's necessary to use aggressive force, if I'm just trying to protect myself or protect my mother or my family or my brothers or my protect my family, protect my black, Hispanic, and Native American people or stand up for them or something like that. The crazy thing about me, I stand up for somebody else quicker than I would myself. But I know I can't beat you neither. I can admit it. And I tell you that I know you're a great fighter. I know I can't. I know that, yeah, you're right. I would be an easy win for you. I'm not a fighter, and yes, I can. I can take a L, and I can be man enough to say yes, I can take a L on that, and I don't mind because guess what? I'm not the baddest. I'm not none of that. I don't care about that. I don't care about yes, you win some, you lose some, of course. Regardless of how bad you are, there's always somebody that's a little better than me. You see what I'm saying? I get that. It's not about fighting. It's not about killing to me. It's just about me standing up for my people. The only time, like I said, I reiterate, it's necessary to try to protect. I probably would get myself hurt really bad trying to protect somebody. I'll give you another example. I was in Walmart, Brother Bunny Honey D. I was in Walmart last this was probably about maybe a month ago. I'm gonna say a month ago. I was in Walmart and I was sitting there talking to a full-blooded Uncle Tom as well. Where I didn't know it. I didn't know that he was an Uncle Tom. I thought he was a genuine guy. He like in his 20s, late 20s or something like that. There was a black woman was walking out the store, and there was a so-called white man that knew the guy that I was talking to because he sits at Walmart. He's a greeter and whatever that people that walk in, how you doing? He the one that checks people receipts and mark people's receipts if they buy something expensive. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I'm thinking he was all right guy because I was talking a brother. I was thinking he was all right brother. We was talking on topics of how the so-called white man colonized this and that. He agreed with me on a lot of the viewpoints, but some of the viewpoints he kind of like didn't agree. But we still was able to keep the conversations and stuff going until a black woman, was leaving out, and I guess she was unaware she didn't like pay for her food or meat or something, And I felt it was my duty is to stand up for that woman, even though this so-called white man was claiming that he's doing his job, but doing his job harassing our people. I would never go against my people like that. Now, I don't know nothing about that sister, and I don't need to know. All I know is that she needed somebody to stand up for. Whether she probably thought it was, she didn't even know that I was defending her, really. But I told that so-called white man, I said, yeah, that's y'all fucked up cash register. That's some old fucked up ass cash register. I told him straight up because I'm a type like this here. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm just straight up. I told the so-called white woman today, she was a nurse. We was talking about poor and a conversation came up like that. And she was trying to tell me, well, I'm poor. Of course, I know what you're talking about. I'm like to myself, you don't know that. So something say, speak up and be straight up and honest with this person and don't sugarcoat shit. And I did. I said, well, I'm going to be honest with you and I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm just going to be honest with you. I told her today, I said, nobody, when they came here for my mother to check her wounds and all the type of stuff, to check out stuff, her blood pressure and stuff. That's what them home and health nurses do. She was a so-called white woman. I said, from what I see, there is no other races of people that struggles like a Black, Hispanic, or Native American person. Because I told her I came from a place of poverty. I'm gonna get back to Brother Hunter D. But let me say, she was like, well, that's just your opinion. I said, no, it's a fact. I said, no, it's a fact. I said, nobody on the earth, and that's just me being 100% honest. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I told her this earlier today. I said, there is nobody that is more, don't nobody go through it like the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Yes, I say, I give it to you. You go through it. Everybody goes through tribulations and experience some part in their life, some trauma or whatever. But the Hebrews is in the majority. The Hebrew Blacks, the Hebrews, the Hebrew people, the real original people, even to this day, goes through a lot of stuff. Not like they do, but not like we do. They don't go through it like they ain't been in poverty all their life. They go through something, but she don't get racial profiling. It's not as bad. Not as bad as it. Ours is worse. She can drive out there. If she get pulled over, she ain't got to be afraid. For the most part, she ain't got to be afraid. But at the same time, let's get back to Brother Bunny Hunter D. You is a definition of a full-blooded Uncle fucking Tom. You is. Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't get a chance to say this part, but I stood up for that black woman, and I said, no, I said that's y'all fucked up cat. That's some old damn fucked up ass cash register. I told them like that. I said that's some old screwed up cash registers that's act like them. They didn't pay for their stuff, and that don't be on the people. It be in y'all system. And that's what I told him. He said, no. And then he butted in our come me in the and this is how I found out his ass was a fucking Uncle Tom. And I'm glad that happened like that. So the Lord God was letting me know that his ass is somebody that I don't need to be sitting up talking to, because he turn around and rat you out against the so-called white man right here in Hammond, Louisiana, Walmart. Yes, he will. So I said, man, I'm not talking to you. He got mad when I said that. That was another way for me standing up for that black woman. He got pissed off. He got mad. I didn't give a fuck. I was standing up. I said, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. So I guess the man the brother that I was talking to, he turned against me and was trying to tell me to shut up and leave or whatever, because he was afraid that his job was at stake. That's all he was worried about. He wasn't worried about me standing up for so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American people. He wasn't worried about that. All he was worried about was his job and being an asshole for the damn white man. But I didn't give a damn, though. I didn't give a damn if I would have got put out the damn stove. Even though I didn't want to be, I was risking that. I was risking this shit. I was risking myself telling that man abandoned me from that damn stove. But I didn't give a damn. And I don't give a fuck. And I end up getting into an altercation with him. And then he turned around right around after that and harassed me with a receipt, trying to call himself trying to get back at me because he was fucking mad and pissed off that I stood up for the black woman. So he decided he'll single me out at the cash registers of whatever, knowing fucking well that he got his goddamn the managers, they have these damn phones hooked up to them cash registers because them self checkout cash registers has cameras on them, and his phone is hooked to that. So he just decided he'll single me out because he didn't like the idea that I stood up for that black woman. That's all it was. So he decided to come and ask me for my receipt. I said, I'm being targeted. That's what I said. Well, I'm sorry. No, you're not being targeted. I'm sorry you feel that way. I was just checking that you're a motherfucking lie. And they ain't gonna have the nerve to use God, say God bless you or whatever. I said, well, you ain't blessed. You the damn devil. And I hope the worst come up on your ass. Yeah, I literally cussed his ass out. I said, fuck you. I want to, and kept going. I risked everything, but I didn't give a damn. I say, fuck that motherfucker at Hammond Walmart. That's what I said. I don't give a damn if millions of people so-called white people get this video. Yeah, I said, fuck y'all so-called white, because y'all don't do nothing but go around and oppress our people all the time. But back to Brother Bunny Honey D now. Bunny Honey D, you is a full-blooded, dirty ass Uncle Tom. Yes, you is. You is. I saw your video of you pulling that elderly, going to that elderly man's house, and then you nudge down. Which, okay, I get it. You don't fight when we're not supposed to. I agree with what you're saying. I ain't talking about no white woman now. I ain't talking about them. I ain't talking about no other race of woman. I'm talking about a black, Hispanic, and Native American women. No, I wouldn't put my hand on them. No, not my brother, not my sister. No, not them. But the Caucasian woman, so-called, like, yeah, you put your hand on me, I'm gonna hit your ass back and I'm gonna defend myself. The reason I say I wouldn't do it to a so-called black woman is because I look at slavery that we done been through. They've been through a lot. The black man been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the only time to use force of aggression to me is when I'm trying to protect my blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. But Brother Bunny Honey D, you is the definition of a full-blooded ass Uncle Tom. You is. You don't care nothing about your people. And like I said, stop comparing yourself to Malcolm X. Just because you have the same color as Malcolm X and your brothers and your sisters, that doesn't mean that you are with your people. Color, on, like you used to say, I don't go back with this and that and the third. Don't compare yourself to Malcolm X. Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and all those people that stood up for civil rights of blacks, Hispanics, and Native our people and stuff, they didn't go around doing what you did. Because they understand that this is a system that controls everything. That allows you is to pay people. We living in a system to where we got to pay for everything that we get from white supremacy. We already go through enough oppression from so-called white people. Anyway, yes, when you do wrong, you pay for what you do wrong. Oh, I agree with that and everything. But understand the bigger picture behind that. What you need to do, Brother Bunny Honey D, you need to go and you need to read about Stockholm Syndrome. Because ask yourself this question. How did now this is where the so-called white man, I'm gonna jump to the so-called white man. How in the hell are you gonna call yourself running somebody down in your car, catching a suspect for a stolen car when y'all people came over here, raped, robbed, and murdered the country and everything, but you're punishing an innocent black or Hispanic or Native American? I mean, look, seeing them videos, how y'all so-called police be having a shootout. Y'all don't give a fuck if y'all shoot a so-called black or Hispanic or Native American person. Y'all know motherfucking well, Esau, the so-called white man. Y'all don't give a damn about none of our people. Y'all will take, if the push came to shove, y'all will load our people up with some fucking bullets. You don't give a damn about them. They come about we want to get you some help and take you to a hospital. Y'all don't give a fuck about so African American, Black and Hispanic and Native American people, Latinos and Native Americans and Creole Haitian. Y'all don't give a damn about none of our people. Y'all don't. Y'all just don't. So, and then you can't compare us to y'all. They had this motherfucker at North Oaks here in Hammond, Louisiana. I'm gonna expose this white motherfucking Caucasian ass too as the damn devil. When that incident first happened to my mother, our mother, our mother, I love to say our mother. Okay, they asked me what happened. Because see, this is my first time ever encountering a situation to where this happened to my mother and things took a L and took a turn because my mother was taking care of all of the business and stuff like that when it came to you know what blah blah and so on and so forth. But when her situation took a turn and she went into her season of struggle the way that it happened as far as a stroke, then I had to figure out ways to do certain things, and I'm learning now. It's like I'm learning from scratch because I was so used to depending upon the situation or whatever. But the God is blessing me so far is to you know to get take care of the basics, make sure everything is right or whatever, and I thank God for that. You know, as far as learning things in an emergency case, you know what I'm saying. So it's just teaching the moral of these things that happen just when you're younger. If you're a young person, prepare yourself because you never know what may happen or what may come your way. Just educate yourself the best way you could and just prepare yourself for any situation at any moment at any time. That's my message would be to the person who's younger than me. If you're in your 20s or teens, maybe if you're 10 or 9 or 10 or whatever, if you run across this video or whatever, just know that because you never know what can take place in a family. Because see, I had no idea that this was going to happen like this. But at the same time, or whatever, I'm gonna say it again. Bunny Honey D, you is a full-blooded Uncle Tom. That's the title of this video. That's what you is. You know what I mean? Uh it was just really, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was disturbing watching your video. I don't too much care for your movement. Your movement is really unjust. Then you'll go to talking about using the same white supremacist words. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what race or creed you is. Uh, Doing wrong doesn't have a color on it or whatever. If you do wrong, if you do crime, it ain't about your color. It's about the crime you commit. It's about the content of your character and all the kind. This is the manipulation that they want to sell us to hijack the unjust of what happened to the real chosen people. They use all of those things just to hijack what's right. That's what they do. They use all this shit to hijack what's right and what's wrong. Just like I said earlier, I would never work in those so-called from what happened to our mother, the way she had a stroke in North Oaks Hospital and all of that type of stuff, and that shit and the shit that they did me, that so-called white evil bitch went up in there and told the motherfuckers that I was what they told her. I was up in there because I was asking her dirty Caucasian redneck ass about why is the needles being stuck. I'm confused. You see what I'm saying? And if I'm a person that's confused, you don't come out and say, "What are you confused?" You don't come out and talk to a person like that that wants to know conditions of their family members. And I told her, "Wait a minute, you don't talk to me." As soon as I tried to stand up for myself, then she went and hollered it out and went and told the people, and they went in there and told the security guard just to get me up out of there. I don't know what the fuck she might have been up in there doing. She could have been up in there touching my mama in spots where she probably was a damn leg, because they natural born lesbians anyway, just like the so-called white men are natural born homosexual. You don't know what they be doing up in there. And I said I wouldn't trust my mother in nothing like that. I don't trust her in no goddamn nursing home, a so-called nursing home, and the so-called hospital. Those are not good places for families to be. I don't give a damn what nobody say. You can debate me from sun up to sundown. You're not going to get me. You're not going to get me to reconcile being into something in an institution like that and saying it's right. Well, it's to have no other choice and all that kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. I was born. I feel like I was born when God creates you. He already automatically preordained and predestined you to do certain things. It has nothing to do with whether you're not able to do it. I feel like when God called and when you are doing something, the Most High already ordained and predestined you to do it before you were born. Everything that happened, it's always it's what you already predestined to do it. It's not about whether you're able to do it or not. It's all about God put people in certain roles. God would never put a person in a position that is not fit for the role. He already know who's fit for certain roles and who ain't fit for certain roles. He would never put you to be in a position to be the character that you are. He put set people just like in the Bible. It's 18 nations in the Bible, right? Okay, there are different nations. Esau, you got Jacob, which is the black and the brown. Esau is the white man. You got Japheth, the so-called white man. You got Gomer, which would be the Gentile nations and all of them. You got the Hittites. You got the Ethiopians. You got so-called Africa. You got the Canaanites, which will be the African people. You got Nimrod. You got all these different nations in the Bible. The Jebusites and the Canaanites, which will be the African people. You got the Philistines. You got the Amalek, which is the Jewish people over in Israel. You got all those different nations in the Bible. It's 18 of them. Each one of them have a role and a character that God want them to play out, that He designed for them is to do. So everybody has a role and a character and a certain thing that He wants them to do in a certain mission that He gave them, that they was already born with, that He want them is to have, that He wants you to do. So everything that you set up is already ordained and set up by the Most High for you to be that way, and how He wants your life to act out. Just like you got the 2/3. The 2/3 is going to be destroyed, and 1/3 is going to make it into the kingdom of heaven. Into the kingdom of heaven means rulership. That means they're going to be in rulership, and those who go along with the so-called white man, Brother Bunny Hunter D to me represents the 2/3. The Bible talks about the 2/3. The Bible says in Revelation, the great city of Babylon was divided into 3 parts, and the city of the nation fell. And the great city Babylon was divided. It says divided into 3 parts. That's right. That's going into the to the 2/3 that's going to be destroyed. Yeah, but I can keep saying this all day. All the stuff that Brother Bunny Hunter D, he talking about, I heart the comments, y'all show me some love in the comments and all that kind of stuff. Man, you just worried about the job that you're doing. Just like me. Let me reiterate this in. Being at these hospitals and stuff like that, man, look, it ain't no fuck. I'll cuss somebody out telling me, oh, you wanna get your job doing some blood work and just taking blood samples of people and black people and our people and stuff and sticking them with needles and stuff. I'm gonna look at them like I'm crazy, because the reason why I say that is because I saw how our mother was handled up in there. They getting blood samples of them and everybody agreeing to the shit and all that type of stuff. When you stand up against these so-called white people, you have a lot of your people gonna come and stand up and come against you and check you and say you was in the wrong. And you have a lot of our people do that shit. That's why I don't even fuck with this phone here. This phone here. I don't talk to nobody on that shit. They call me, but I don't talk to people like that, man. I don't talk to everybody because I already know what their conversation gonna be about. Why do I need to call to get on the damn phone and talk to somebody and I'm already know that the conversation gonna go left? I don't need what the fuck I'm gonna waste time with somebody like that for. And I got a whole nother video I'm gonna do on another topic about that. But brother Bonnie Honey D, you is a full-blooded ass Uncle Tom. I just don't. It's just something about your movement. I don't. Mm-mm. I love you, brother, but I don't like you because of how you. I mean, look, man. I get it. When you don't pay your property, then you pay the consequences. They come get your stuff. They send you out, and you have no other choice but to get the people's stuff and all that kind of stuff. And you have to be mature and you have to know pay people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying if I owe something, somebody tell me I owe something, especially my brother, I'm going to give my brother something. Say, hey, look, oh my bad. Let me what I need, how much I need. I just tell them what's the pricing, and I'll bring the rest of it back. Or if you feel free, if you choose not to let me have it, okay. Say, well, how much I owe you or something like that. And I'm like, I'll be the bigger person and like, okay, let me make sure I pay these people so they won't think that I went and just took what their possessions or something. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But Bunny Honey D, you is a full-blooded Uncle Tom. You are Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus to the Mac. But I know you're gonna try to justify this shit. Be like, well, it's not about the cup. If it can be my people, if you're doing wrong, it's about when you do wrong. I love my people by correcting them and tell them when you're doing wrong. Oh yeah, it's a way you do that. It's a way that it can be done. I just feel like you be doing too much. That's all. My honest opinion, I just feel like you just doing too much. But anyway, I know it seems like I'm all over the place, but I just don't talk to everybody. Well, after what I seen happen to our mother, talking to different people, I used to tell her all the time. And I'm just speaking in general. I used to tell her, Mama, you don't need to be talking to certain people because certain people, all they doing is just bringing you certain energy. I'm just gonna tell the truth. The energy that they bring you, what you need to say, look, I'm hanging this up. If you can't call him, and if you can't talk right, if you can't speak respectfully, then I'm going to respectfully decline this phone call, this answer. And if they keep going on, all right, I'll see you later. Click, click. Don't call me no damn more. That's what you got to tell people. I don't want to entertain people at all. I don't give a damn if they just telling me about or warning me about something or whatever. If I feel like they are just shit starters or whatever, I don't want to be involved in that. I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to get text the person. If it's that serious, just text them. It ain't to the point where we need to be just physically talking. No, mm-mm. Hell no. That's why most of my videos, I'm by myself. I'm just talking into the camera, talking to myself, and I'd rather for it to stay like that. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I'm up out of here. and y'all have a good night. But I'm gonna say it again, Brother Bunny Honey D, you is a full-blooded Uncle Tom. Yes, you is. The way you go about it and just watching you, viewing you in your videos and stuff, yes, you are. You are Uncle Tom, a full-blooded Uncle Tom to the max. You will be the definition of the house black man, the so-called house black man. You know what I mean by that. All right, I'm out. But so-called white people, let's I'm gonna go and show Bonnie Honey D at the end, like at least I can conclude it like this in Stockholm syndrome. What is Stockholm syndrome? Stockholm syndrome is a psychological response in which hostages are abused. Victims develop a bond and sympathy for their captors or abusers, sometimes even identified with them and defending them against authorities. This complex phenomenon is believed to be a survival mechanism that emerges in stressful, abusive, or life-threatening situations. See that? Helping the victim to cope and reduce the threat of harm. The the term originated from a 1973 bank robbery in Stockholm Syndrome, Sudan, where people that was taken captive, hostages formed an emotional connection with their captors during a 6-day standoff. They formed a connection. Why you think our black women's is so used to being Uncle Tom? They so used to sitting there talking to so-called white people and admiring black women sitting up there just smiling all big in their face and stuff like that. And that's somebody that them develop a full connection with their captors. They have respect for the same people that kidnapped them. Let me show you. Matter of fact, this video gonna be kind of long. It's gonna be kind of long. That's all right. But it's gonna be something to enlighten our people. I think it's Exodus 21:16. I believe. Exodus 21:16. The Bible says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Which nation of people goes around the most that are most known for kidnapping, raping, robbing people? The so-called white man. The Bible says he's going to surely be put to death. So this is what our people don't realize. It says how it manifests. Positive feelings toward the abuser. The victim develops an effective or sympathy for the person who is harming them. That sounds like people saying, I forgive George Floyd. Forgive the man that killed George Floyd. I forgive the person that killed Dylan Roof going into the church, killing 9 black people in cold blood and wounded several, probably more than that. Yeah, go look at that video of Dylan Roof back in 2015. And this is black, so-called black women. That's why they put European central hair in their head, because they trying to look like their oppressors. They'll try to say they ain't or whatever, but they do. You see what I'm saying? Because if I'm saying the Bible says, envy not the oppressor, nor choose none of his ways. Um, the positive feelings toward the abuser. The victim develops an effective or sympathy for the person who is harming them. That means that you see a lot of black women, so-called black women, they get up on stand and go to defending for a so-called white man or white woman, say, oh, they didn't have a childhood when they had a life or had a house or whatever. This is what they would do. They would turn around and stand up in the courts and will defend them in their abusers, and will love the master and will defend the master more than the master defend himself, and will love the master more than the master love himself. This is what Malcolm X was saying too. Why it happens. Survival mechanism. It is though to be a subconscious copying strategy to reduce the threat of violence and survive the trauma. Previous kindness. Victims may interpret small acts of leniency of kindness from a captor as compassion, leading to feelings of gratitude. Psychological dependence. The captives may come to depend on the captor for basic needs. Basic needs, that means food, and fostering and a psychological bond. Where it where can it where it can occur while naming after a bank robbery. Stockholm syndrome can manifest in various contexts. Hostages, uh, statistics, domestic abuse, child abuse, cult membership, war and imprisonment, and trafficking situation. Trafficking, people sex trafficking, whatever the hell that is. Importance consideration, not a mental illness. Stockholm syndrome is considered a trauma response or a copying mechanism, not a standalone mental illness. In other words, they probably call it when you go through something mental illness. No, the syndrome is relatively rare. Only a small percentage of hostages victims exhibited this behavior. Context is key. The development of these feelings is often linked to factors like the captor not harming the victims, a prolonged situation, and emotional context. Yeah. So that's what Stockholm syndrome is. Somebody that develops love for their captors or abusers, or start having empathy or sympathy for the same people that abuse them. That's what Stockholm syndrome is. And a lot of our women and people, men and women, done developed a spirit like that. That's why they have so much. Matter of fact, our people have so much and much more, and they have more compassion for the enemy than they do their own people. They'll turn around and rat their own people out to the damn white man. Say, oh yeah, he the one did it. Yes, sir. Yes, I seen him do it. I seen him walk into there. That's what they do. So I'm gonna get up out of here and I'm gonna see y'all later, man. I need to get to bed. I don't, I guess my mother, she'll be all right until in the morning and stuff. But I'll be ready never. I'll be in the hallway with my covers and she in the bed, whatever, and everything. So that's what the Bible said. I'm gonna talk about probably tomorrow gatekeepers and how Israel, and I'm gonna go to Ezekiel and talk about watchmen and stuff, and how the Most High said we should be a watchman for our people and things of that nature. But you know what I'm saying. But I feel we'll just save it for another video. All right, I'll see y'all later, and I'm out. But brother Bunny Hunter D, I'm gonna end this video again. You is a full-blooded Uncle Tom, brother. You is a full-blooded Uncle Tom. I'm out.